The drums faded behind them as the 7 hunters left the vibrant festival ground. They marched with purpose, armed and ready, disappearing into the shadows of the forest. Odey walked behind the group silently, his tall frame and strong arms shining under the fading light. His Ankara wrapper was short and tattered, his chest bare, glistening with the last light of dusk. His beads wrapped around his muscles and neck stayed unmoved, a quiet sign of strength and ancestral protection. His long braided hair, with beads at the tips, swung slightly with every step. A torchlight wrapped in rope sat atop his forehead, unlit, for nightfall was near. As they reached the edge of the deep woods, they looked at each other and nodded, each man now responsible for his path. The 7 split, vanishing into different directions, guns and hunting tools in hand. Odey's path led him deeper, where the trees grew thick and the silence whispered of danger. Suddenly, something rustled. He crouched low, the instincts of a born hunter kicking in. His eyes caught glowing lights, 2 fiery eyes peering at him from the tall grass. He crept forward, each step deliberate. And then, the creature revealed itself. A monster, half lion from the head to the waist, but with giant human-like legs, thick and terrifying. Its fur was golden and wild, but its feet pounded like thunder. Odey wasted no time. He lifted his hunting gun, arm steady. A split second, and bang! The forest echoed with the sound of the shot. But the beast didn't fall. It leapt at him, with a roar that shook the trees, knocking him flat to the ground. The 2 tumbled and rolled, claws against skin, man against monster. Odey fought fiercely, his body covered in dirt and sweat, his chest rising with labored breaths. He reached into the lion's mouth, gripping its jaws with both hands, trying to tear it apart. Blood sprayed, but he refused to let go. With a final scream of effort, Odey yanked the lion's jaws wide open, until a crack snapped through the air. The beast collapsed. Panting, Odey stood above the creature, blood on his arms. He pulled out a small hunting knife from his bag and sliced off the creature's right ear, placing it into his leather pouch. Not long after, another hunter, Akon, a broad-shouldered man with tribal markings, burst into the clearing, his eyes wide. Odey! What in the name of the gods? Akon ran closer, seeing the dead beast in the pool of its own blood. He quickly whistled into the air. Moments later, the other 5 hunters arrived. They were stunned. Together, the 7 men tied a thick rope around the lion-like beast, its size too heavy to carry. Grunting and sweating, they began dragging the creature out of the forest, back toward the festival grounds. By the time the hunters reappeared at the festival ground, night had fallen. Torches lit the field as the drums returned in thunderous rhythm. As the villagers saw what the men dragged into view, the crowd erupted. Odey! 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 Children jumped. Women clapped. Men stomped the ground in amazement. The king rose from his throne in wonder. In his rich royal robes, crown glinting under firelight, he stepped forward, grabbed Odey's blood-stained arm, and raised it to the sky. This is the greatest hunter of ntar. But suddenly, from within the crowd, Akon, the same hunter who found Odey, stormed forward with rage in his eyes. No. He is not. That beast, I found it first. I struck it but left to track another. It was already dying when he arrived. Gasps echoed. The celebration halted. The drummers dropped their hands. The king narrowed his eyes. From the crowd, an elder in a red cap stepped out, pointing at Odey. Why must he always win? Must every creature fall at his feet? Other hunters exist too. This glory was not his. Murmurs swept across the people. Some nodded, others looked uncertain. Then, another voice rose. A different elder, his beard gray and voice calm, walked forward and stood beside Odey. We were there when the gods named him years ago. When the trees bent for him in battle. We cannot doubt the one who has never lied. The argument grew, divided between praise and suspicion. Then, a sudden silence fell, as an elderly woman, wrapped in deep blue with silver beads, stepped into the circle. She raised her hands. "Let the gods speak." All turned. "Bring the chief priest." Soon, the chief priest arrived, his feet bare, his face painted in white chalk symbols. A juju bag hung from his left, and a wooden staff glowed dimly in his right. He walked slowly, entering the middle of the circle, where Odey and Akon now stood face to face, each still with their hunting gear. The priest raised a horn, then reached into his bag and flung a white powder high into the sky. It exploded. A thick white mist covered the air, so dense the festival ground vanished in smoke. Then slowly, as it cleared, from above, came the flap of wings. Hawks, 5 of them, circled high in the sky, flying above the crowd. A silence unlike any other gripped the villagers. The gods had arrived.